Vintage and Vinyls. I'll be spinning some rockin' 50s records every week here on my channel, as well as showing you some cool Coca-Cola collectibles and other neat vintage finds. Stay tuned. Hey guys, this is Katie with Vintage and Vinyls, back with another great video for you. In this video, I'm going to be doing a collaboration with My Blessed Nest, and this collaboration is the I Love Thrifting 2020 challenge, and this is so fun. I am really grateful to be a part of this challenge, and I can't wait to see everyone's submissions. I'm sure they will be so wonderful, and I love seeing what everyone else has found over the years and treasured in their own homes. So my background with thrifting starts, I'd say, when I was pretty young, because I loved collecting pretty much everything. Anything from rocks to ticket stubs, those little meter tags that would come off of your local power meters in the backyard or behind stores. They were so colorful and fun. And then as I got into woodworking around age 7, I would say I'd go through the neighborhood, and they do a lot of the old houses, like redo them, and they'd have dumpsters, and I would go to the dumpsters and find all kinds of fun stuff in there. So I've always loved kind of digging through heaps of junk to find that one treasure that's just amazing. But I think what really got me started into thrifting and antiquing was my mom would take us to the Fernandina Shrimp Festival, and I loved going every year. They had many different streets sectioned off, and each street sort of had a different theme. They had a lot of artisans, from potters to photographers to jewelry makers to painters. It was just really wonderful. It's like an outdoor arts market. But then they had this street that was just amazing, and we all called it Antique Row, but it was just basically a bunch of people, sort of like a flea market outside, with boxes and boxes of vintage goodies that you could just rummage through. And I would find vintage rings. My mom got a couple of old knobs, door handles for the tops of her pottery pieces she was making, and I noticed going through the street that there would be all kinds of Coca-Cola things, and I loved finding Coca-Cola bottles. And that really is what got me started, I think, with Coca-Cola, was finding the bottles. And also there was a man that had an older diamond paper label from a bottle, and I remember seeing that thinking, oh, that's so cool. One day I will own something like that, and now I do. So that's just a really fun memory, and I do think that's what got me started into this wonderful world of vintage and antiques. Now, my home is filled with a lot of things that I found through antique stores, architectural salvage yards, and also family. My grandmother had saved a lot of wonderful dishware and vintage pieces from different family members, and my mom and I have really been having fun going through them, and now I own a lot of pieces that are very special to me. Some even I remember seeing Grandma use as a kid, so that's always really fun to have those special ties to the pieces in your own home. So now I am going to show you some vintage items that I have found. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying I don't find a lot at Goodwill. I see vintage resellers on YouTube finding amazing deals at Goodwill. I never find anything, and there's one by our house that I do go to quite a bit, and I just don't find anything. I don't know, it's just not in the cards for me, I guess. But I do think that our antique stores and architectural salvage yards have a lot of good bargains. And I go there for that reason. A couple of the vendors even have gotten to know me, and they'll do discounts and different things. So it's really nice. But I do just stay away from the Goodwill because I do not find anything. But one day, maybe I will be in another city and hit up some Goodwills and find some good vintage goodies. But let's go ahead and jump into the thrifted items. This is the first item I'd like to share with you. I got this at a local vintage shop, and I only paid $5 for it. It is a Houndstooth suitcase with leather trimming, and I turned it into a little side table here with some black pipe legs, and I love this piece. I love things that are a little bit worse for wear because they have such a great history, and it's amazing to think that this got a lot of use and probably saw a lot of the world. So it is an amazing find. And for $5, really, you can't beat that. The next piece kind of has a funny story because, as I mentioned, I never find anything in Goodwill. But one day I was in there getting some pieces for a Halloween costume that I needed. Our friends were doing a little Halloween costume dinner party. So I was looking for a black jacket, and I kind of gave up because, again, as usual, I don't find anything in Goodwill. But I did find this plate when I was going down some of the smaller aisles, and it is an etched Fostoria plate. I believe this is the rose pattern. I have to look this back up in my vintage glassware book, but I have the matching picture because the picture belonged to my grandmother. So I was really excited to find this plate, and I got it, guys, for only 43 cents. I know, absolutely amazing, but I love this plate. The next piece I want to share with you I got at the Architectural Salvage Yard, and this is some of my vintage typewriter tins, but I got this typewriter tin, these two, at the same salvage yard. I paid $1 each. This one is improved Climax ribbon with some starbursts on the side, which is just amazing, and that was the dealer's sticker there, but I did not pay $10 for it. And then I got this Tybins Excelsior typewriter ribbon, and I love the color and the pattern. Now, my favorite color is red, and I collect a lot of red glassware, and some of the pieces that I've picked up over the years have come from different vintage shops, flea markets, that kind of thing. And these two pieces here I got at a local vintage store over by where I get my hair cut. And what was amazing to me is usually you see these etched check bowls with the grapes, especially the red color, in sets, and usually it's like a set of 10 for $75. I've always admired these, but I am not paying $75. But this lady had a whole stack of these bowls, and she wanted $3 each. So I instantly grabbed 2 bowls for my counter. I have the matching one on the other side, and I just love these. So I think that was a steal. I also got some other glassware at the similar place, but it's another antique store here that I frequent a lot. And this is a lovely little Cordial Glass. It's it's got a gold rim around it. Has no marking, so I don't know who made it. I do know it is older, and it has grapes, which I love grapes on kitchen items or just glassware in general. So I think this little green glass is beautiful, really just stunning, and I only paid $1 for it, so you can't beat that. The next thing I got at a thrift store, or actually no, this came from a flea market, and I got this a few years ago, but it was a wonderful find. This is a Coca-Cola Syrup Jug, and it is an older one from the 1950s, and the lady told me that this came from a local hardware store at their soda fountain that they used to have. Well, I frequent that hardware store a lot, so I thought the connection to it was just wonderful. And of course, I love Coca-Cola, so this is a really neat find, and I paid $4 for it, so I'd say that was a great deal. Now, the next thing I want to share with you is in my bathroom, and this is a piece of vintage glassware that I got at a thrift store, or was it a thrift store or an antique store? One of them. But it is a Smith & Hawkins Botanical glass jar. Now, my research tells me that this is from the 1970s, and I do believe that it might have had seeds or some sort of potting related like chemical inside of it. But I love the color, and I love this green substantial stopper. I think it's just beautiful, and I love green glass, but you can really see how the light shines through that, and just how stunning that is. And I only paid $6 for that. The next piece of glassware I got is an Anchor Hawking, kind of short green barware glass, and I paid $2 for this at a local vintage shop, and I absolutely love this green piece of glass. It's a really nice water glass for the bathroom, and I just love having my little green glassware collection in here. Now, the next piece of glassware I got was from an architectural salvage yard that I mentioned I frequent a lot, and this I only paid $1 for. And it is newer because it has the screw top, and it has a really interesting marking. It kind of looks like Saturn, but I know it's not. And I haven't been able to find anything on this piece, but I just love its little tiny stature, you know, and it's little. It's kind of a squatty guy, and I think that he is so cute and miniature, and I absolutely love that. I also found this vintage squib bottle. It's a medicine bottle. Now it is newer because it does once again have the screw top, but the glass is marked on the bottom, bottle made in USA, and it is for medicine of some kind, and it's multi-sided here. So I love finding bottles like this. I think they are so cool, especially when they're embossed. I mean, you can't beat that at all. And I paid $3 for this little bottle. So I think that will do it for some of the thrifted items. If you want to watch my vintage home tour and really get to see everything that I have in my vintage home, please go do that. I recently posted that video, and you can find it on my YouTube channel, Vintage and Vinyls. I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you to My Blessed Nest for this wonderful challenge. I really loved participating in it, and I hope you all stay safe, stay in, and binge YouTube.